Welcome to This Explainer. Today, we're jumping right in to tackle a massive bottleneck in AI-assisted development. Honestly, it's the kind of thing that is probably keeping your engineering managers awake at night. We're going to unpack NIMI HQ and how its persistent project memory finally stops you from having to constantly repeat your project's rules to your coding AI. Here is our roadmap for today. We'll be looking at 1. The AI coding bottleneck. 2. Curing session amnesia. 3. The 5 stages of memory. 4. NIMI HQ versus standard RIG. And 5. Benchmarks and seamless integration. All right, let's dive into part 1, the AI coding bottleneck. More code, same review. Okay, so look at the stark contrast we're facing today. On one hand, coding assistants are just churning out code at totally unprecedented speeds. Output is literally through the roof. But on the flip side, human review bandwidth hasn't budged an inch. We are only human after all. And because of this mismatch, we are seeing these absolutely massive pull request surface areas. Instead of guiding the code as it's being written, we're basically forced to play catch-up, desperately trying to spot architectural drift way downstream during PR reviews. It's exhausting, and it just slows everything down. Moving on to part 2, curing session amnesia with persistent project memory. So what's actually driving this bottleneck? It really boils down to a systemic, built-in flaw in how default coding agents operate. It's a little something called session amnesia. Basically, this is the phenomenon where your AI completely forgets prior architectural decisions unless you explicitly reprompt it every single time. You know the exact feeling, right? You tell your AI, hey, we use this specific testing framework. And then literally the next day, in a totally new session, it tries to use something completely different. It's not that the AI model is bad. It's just that the agent absolutely does not retain your established architectural guardrails. Let's put this into perspective. Imagine prompting your AI, hey, should we rebuild the retrieval system from scratch with embeddings? Without NIMI HQ, the AI falls right into the trap of session amnesia. It confidently suggests a vector database and sentence transformers. Sounds super smart, but actually, it's completely wrong for your project. But if you have NIMI HQ active, the AI immediately rejects the rebuild. It actually cites Rule 001 straight from your project's memory, enforcing your past decision to stick to deterministic keyword scoring without any extra ML dependencies. It acts as an automatic enforcer right there in the chat. Part 3, the 5 stages of memory. No vector store, no ML. So how exactly does this thing surface those crucial rules right at prompt time? Well, it uses a completely transparent 5-stage pipeline. Step 1, it loads your structured project memory straight from a simple JSON or YAML file in your version control. Step 2, it retrieves the relevant rules using deterministic keyword scoring. Yep, absolutely no unpredictable vector stores here. Step 3, it builds a compact context packet. Step 4, it injects that packet directly into the system prompt. And finally, Step 5, it evaluates and scores the AI's response against that context. Basically, it catches rule violations before the code ever even reaches a human reviewer. Which brings us to part 4. NIMI HQ versus standard RAG. It's all about shaping the response. At this point, technical leads almost always ask me, why not just build a standard RAG system with embeddings? Well, the answer hits the nail on the head right here. RAG retrieves information. NIMI HQ retrieves decisions. It's a subtle but absolutely massive difference. Mapping out that profound difference, it really comes down to the output effect. Standard RAG pipelines, they just try to dump a bunch of information into the model to inform the response. NIMI HQ, on the other hand, is a strict governance layer. It is explicitly designed to shape the response. So while RAG just wants the model to know more, NIMI HQ literally forces the model to follow your architectural decisions. The evaluation completely shifts from asking, did the AI find the right source document, to, did the AI actually respect our strict API versioning constraint? Guys, it's basically the difference between giving your AI an open book test versus handing it a rigid compliance checklist. Finally, part 5, benchmarks and seamless integration. Let's look at the proven performance. Okay, we love theory, but the numbers really speak for themselves here. When put to the test, NIMI HQ hit an absolutely incredible 94% constraints enforcement rate. And let me just emphasize that is 94% enforcement happening before the generated code ever reaches a human reviewer. I mean, just think about the countless hours of painful PR review time that single metric saves your team. And that 94% success rate wasn't just on easy, trivial tasks. This was benchmarked across 30 strict, real-world governance scenarios. We're talking about successfully enforcing 8 core architectural decisions, 7 strict dependency constraints, like literally preventing the AI from adding new runtime libraries without an architectural decision record, 6 API contracts like REST versioning, 5 testing standards that mandate an 80% coverage threshold, and 4 naming conventions. It really does scale across your entire spectrum of engineering rules. But for me, the absolute best part is just how seamlessly the whole shebang fits into the stack you're already using. Because Mima HQ simply wraps the system prompt, it integrates basically everywhere. Whether your team is living inside IDEs like Cursor or GitHub Copilot, or maybe you're building complex multi-step agents in LangChain or AutoGen, Mima HQ just slips right in. You can even drop it into direct API integrations with Anthropic or OpenAI. Seriously, you can pull this from GitHub and have it running locally in under 2 minutes. No way it gets easier than that. Look, if you don't give your workflows a persistent memory, your AI is just going to keep coding faster than you can review it, and your carefully planned architecture is going to slowly drift right into chaos. But with Nimi HQ, you dramatically shrink that PR surface area and finally automate real governance. So I'll leave you with this. What vital decisions is your AI forgetting today that you absolutely need it to remember tomorrow?